the old wartime heating tricks most people overlook today. There was a time when staying warm wasn't about smart thermostats or expensive insulation panels. It was about survival, efficiency, and using whatever materials were available. During World War II, soldiers, engineers and civilians developed heating methods that worked in brutal winters with almost no fuel to spare. Many of those solutions were practical, cheap and shockingly effective, yet modern builders rarely use them. Some disappeared because mass-produced heating systems took over, while others were simply too simple to be profitable. But when you study wartime cabins, bunkers and field shelters, you start noticing patterns. Airflow mattered more than fire size, structure mattered more than fuel, and positioning mattered more than technology. If you care about history, survival knowledge, or practical building techniques, these forgotten heating secrets offer lessons that still work today. And once you understand them, you'll never look at a fireplace or cabin layout the same way again. How World War II builders used airflow instead of bigger fires to stay warm longer. One of the most overlooked tricks was controlled airflow. Many wartime cabins relied on small, slow-burning stoves combined with clever vent placement rather than large, roaring fires. Builders positioned intake vents low and exhaust vents high, allowing warm air to circulate naturally through the space. This created a steady heat loop that prevented cold pockets from forming. Modern homes often rely on powerful heating systems, but wartime builders knew that trapping heat was more efficient than constantly producing it. If you want to apply this today, look at how air moves through your shelter. Even in a small cabin or workshop, adding a simple adjustable vent near the floor and another near the ceiling can dramatically improve heat retention. The goal is not to increase flame size, but to keep warmth moving where people actually sit and sleep. Why low ceilings and compact sleeping zones were intentional survival designs. World War II shelters were rarely spacious, and that wasn't just due to material shortages. Lower ceilings kept heat concentrated at human height. Instead of heating a tall empty space, warmth stayed closer to the ground, where it mattered. Soldiers often slept on raised platforms or bunks positioned above the coldest air layer. Modern cabins sometimes copy open-concept designs that look impressive but bleed heat quickly. The wartime approach teaches a different lesson: design for function first. A practical example would be installing a removable fabric or wooden divider to reduce the volume of space you need to heat at night. Even something as simple as lowering a ceiling section with temporary panels can create a warm micro-environment that reduces fuel use dramatically. How reflective surfaces quietly boosted heat output without extra fuel. Field engineers frequently used metal sheets, stone slabs, or even polished mess tins behind small stoves to reflect heat back into the room. This turned modest fires into effective heat sources without burning more wood or coal. The principle is simple. Radiant heat should be redirected toward people, not absorbed by walls. Today, you can apply the same idea by placing a safe heat reflector behind a stove or fireplace, ensuring proper spacing to avoid fire hazards. Many survivalists recreate this using steel panels or heat-resistant tiles, allowing a tiny heater to warm a much larger space. It's a reminder that efficiency often comes from positioning rather than power. You know, the forgotten role of thermal mass in wartime cabins is actually quite fascinating. During the Second World War, Builders would often line parts of their shelters with stone, packed earth, or other dense materials. These would absorb heat during the day and then, bit by bit, release it slowly overnight. This clever technique helped reduce temperature swings and meant that fires didn't need to burn quite so often. In contrast, modern construction tends to favour those lightweight materials that will heat up quickly but cool down just as fast. But adding thermal mass is still, honestly, one of the most effective ways to stabilise indoor temperatures. A practical approach today might involve building a stone base around your stove, stacking bricks near a heat source, or even using thick clay walls in off-grid structures. These materials, they store warmth silently, creating a steady background heat, even after the fire dies down. Why hidden insulation tricks mattered more than expensive materials. During the war, insulation wasn't always available, so builders used layered fabric, moss, newspaper or wood shavings between walls to block drafts. The focus was sealing gaps rather than achieving perfect insulation ratings. Many modern structures lose heat through tiny openings around doors, windows or roof joints. Learning from wartime cabins means paying attention to drafts first. Simple steps like sealing cracks, adding heavy curtains or using removable weather barriers can transform how warm a space feels. History shows that a well-sealed small heater often outperforms a powerful system in a drafty room. Why modern builders stopped using these methods even though they still work. The shift towards central heating systems and standardized building codes pushed many of these techniques aside. Mass production favors predictable designs, while wartime solutions were flexible and situational. There's also a cultural factor. Efficiency methods that look rough or improvised don't always fit modern aesthetics. Yet in survival scenarios, off-grid living or historical restoration projects, these older ideas remain incredibly valuable. They reduce reliance on electricity, cut fuel costs, and keep structures warm using basic physics rather than complicated technology. How to apply these forgotten heating lessons without turning your home into a bunker. Start small by observing airflow and sealing drafts before upgrading equipment. Position seating and sleeping areas closer to where heat naturally collects rather than trying to heat unused corners. Add reflective surfaces near heat sources to increase efficiency. Consider integrating dense materials like stone or brick to store warmth if you're building or renovating a cabin. These adjustments don't require a full rebuild, but they echo the mindset of WWII builders who prioritize survival and efficiency over convenience. These wartime heating secrets are more than historical curiosities. They're practical lessons from people who faced harsh winters with limited resources and still managed to stay warm. If you enjoy digging into overlooked survival history and learning techniques that still work today, make sure to subscribe to the channel and share this with someone who appreciates real, field-tested knowledge.